Welcome back to the explainer. So, picture this. You wake up in the middle of the night to an alert on your phone. You check your business security cameras, totally expecting a false alarm, right? But instead, you're watching a full-sized vehicle plowing straight through the brick wall of your storefront. It's absolutely terrifying. But for a growing number of retail owners, this catastrophic scenario is becoming a very real reality. Today, we're breaking down the hard truths of storefront security and how you can actually survive the ultimate brute force attack, the ram raid. This quote actually comes from a commercial security expert who was analyzing surveillance footage of a camera shop out in Berkeley, California. I mean, just vividly picture this. A car backs up over the curb, literally smashes completely through the storefront, and 4 people are inside in seconds. The whole ordeal takes maybe a minute, and they walk out with armfuls of high-value inventory. But here's the real kicker. The detail that should make every single storefront operator sit up and pay attention. That Berkeley shop actually had security shutters installed. They even had metal bollards out on the sidewalk. And yet, the car still got right through. Their defenses completely failed them. So what exactly are we dealing with here? A ram raid is, well, exactly what it sounds like. A vehicle, usually a stolen car or truck, is weaponized as an entry tool. The driver targets a wall, a window, or a door, and just uses the massive weight of the car to create a hole big enough to literally walk inventory right out of, before the police can even be dispatched. And we're seeing these happen almost monthly now across major metro areas. They target dispensaries, jewelry stores, electronic shops, basically anything with high margin, easy-to-move goods near a street. And ironically, part of why ram raids are increasing is actually a response to better security. Storefronts have gotten really good at reinforcing their front doors. So criminals, they just stop trying the door. They move the attack to a totally different surface, the wall. Okay, let's dive into this and unpack exactly how to solve this problem. Today's explainer is broken down into 5 parts. First, the anatomy of a ram raid. Second, why shutters are not bollards. Third, the 5 layers of defense. Fourth, we'll figure out if you're actually at risk. And finally, upgrading your security.
Section 1. Anatomy of a ram raid and why existing defenses fail.
Let's jump back to that Berkeley camera shop for a second. They paid for security, right? They had physical barriers in place. So why didn't those barriers stop the car? Well, it comes down to a harsh engineering reality about how security hardware actually interacts with real-world physics. The shop had bollards, those short metal posts designed to stop cars. But 2 critical things went totally wrong. First, the spacing. The bollards were placed way too far apart. A bollard line is honestly only as good as the gaps it leaves. If a compact car can just squeeze right between them, the line is doing absolutely nothing for you. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, the mounting. To actually stop a moving vehicle, a real bollard must be sunk 3 to 4 feet deep into solid concrete. Those cheap ones, they're just bolted to the surface of the sidewalk with a few lag screws. When a car hits those, they snap off like twigs. I mean, sure, they look great in a photo, and they might check a box for your insurance company, but they offer 0 structural resistance when the wall comes down.
Section 2. Shutters are not bollards, and their distinct roles in defense.
This brings us to a major vulnerability in how businesses approach their protection. So many storefront owners treat security like it's just a single product decision. They buy a shutter and think, great, I'm totally secure. But breaking in through a door and breaking in through a wall, those are 2 completely different problems, and they require totally distinct roles in your defense strategy. Let's be incredibly clear about the difference here. A security shutter is engineered to stop a person, period. It stops a crowbar, a brick, a hammer, or a hand reaching through broken glass. It deters the vast majority of standard tool-based break-ins and buys you valuable time. But a bollard, a shutter absolutely cannot stop a vehicle. It just wasn't designed for it. A car coming at a wall brings thousands of pounds of weight and massive momentum. Only a deeply anchored steel bollard can physically halt that kind of catastrophic force. You literally cannot substitute one for the other. Section 3. The 5 layers of defense are comprehensive framework. So the crucial point here is that true storefront protection isn't about choosing just one magic product. It's about building a comprehensive, layered framework where each element covers a vulnerability that the others simply can't. Here is your ultimate diagnostic checklist. These are the 5 distinct layers of commercial storefront security. If you have all 5 of these in play, your business is incredibly hard to crack. But if you only have 1 or 2, your security is practically a coin flip. We're going to walk through each one of these right now so you can identify exactly what your storefront might be missing. Layer 1 is your absolute foundation, lighting and visibility.
A well-lit storefront that eliminates shadows and hiding spots actually deters criminals before an attack even gets started. Honestly, a poorly lit, dark corner is essentially an open invitation to come test your defenses without being seen from the street.
Building on that, we have layers 2 and 3, alarms and cameras. Now, it is vital to understand that these are reactive layers. An alarm does not physically stop a break-in from happening. What it does do is drastically shorten the time those intruders are willing to stay inside. 3 minutes of a blaring alarm usually means they leave with a lot less of your inventory. Cameras, similarly, they catch the aftermath. They're totally essential for insurance claims and police investigations, and they offer some visible deterrence, but let's be real, they do not physically lock a door or stop a car.
Layer 4 brings us back to actual physical barriers, security shutters. This is the layer that handles those fast, high-frequency threats we talked about, the people arriving after hours to quickly pry open your doors or smash your glass. Shutters are the physical walls standing between a human with hand tools and your highly valuable inventory. And finally, Layer 5, bollards and site design. This is the ultimate brute force stopper. When they're properly sunk deep into concrete and spaced narrowly enough so that no compact car can squeeze through, bollards protect against the catastrophic vehicle attacks that would effortlessly shatter at layers 1 through 4.
Section 4. Are you at risk? Let's look at geographic vulnerability.
Now that we understand those 5 layers, we really need to practically apply this to your own business. The good news here? Not every single storefront needs to panic about a ram raid. The threat is actually highly concentrated based on your specific physical location and geographic vulnerability. And this brilliantly illustrates how your location directly dictates your risk. Think about it. If your store has a really deep setback with no vehicle access, or if you're wedged right in the middle of a strip mall block with other businesses pressed against your walls, you're mostly fine. A car simply can't get the angle or the speed to hit you. But if you are on a standalone corner lot, or if your large glass windows directly face a parking lot, or maybe there's a wide sidewalk out front with no curb breaks or planters, yeah, you are definitely in the high-risk pool. Police reports show these are exactly the types of geometries being targeted right now.
Section 5. Upgrading your security and the action plan. We diagnosed the problem, so let's transition right into the solution. Here are the specific, tangible steps you need to take right now to lock down your storefront against these evolving threats. Step 1. Physically walk outside your storefront today. Look at it from the street and ask yourself honestly, could a vehicle reach my wall? Step 2. Audit your 5 layers. Do you actually have lighting, alarms, cameras, shutters, and bollards? The honest answer for most businesses is usually, 3 out of 5. But remember, your missing layer is your real exposure, no matter how incredibly strong your other layers are. And step 3. Hire the specific, correct trades to fill those gaps.
Speaking of hiring, just a bit of insider advice here. This pro tip catches a lot of business owners completely off guard. Shutters and bollards are entirely different trades. They require entirely different equipment. Installing a security shutter involves overhead carpentry and structural mounting, but installing a true security bollard, that involves heavy concrete coring and deep ground anchoring. Do not let a shutter company tell you they'll just throw in some bollards as a quick add-on without showing you their concrete credentials first. If you need both, for sure, coordinate the timing, but ensure you have specialized experts doing that heavy concrete work.
Now, if you do need to upgrade, you really should know what the timeline looks like. If you're adding bollards, the entire process usually takes about 3 to 6 weeks. Interestingly enough, the actual physical installation only takes 1 to 2 days. The vast majority of that timeline is just permitting. Because bollards often involve cutting into city sidewalks, securing the proper right-of-way permissions from the city takes weeks. So if you realize you're vulnerable today, you need to start the paperwork process immediately. Don't wait until a string of break-ins hits your neighborhood to get the ball rolling.
We've covered a whole lot of ground today, from the terrifying speed of a vehicle attack to the very specific engineering required to actually stop it. It's so easy to look at a heavy metal door or a set of expensive cameras and just feel safe. But as we've seen, criminals are adapting fast, and they are constantly exploiting the weakest links in commercial architecture. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Your storefront might look totally secure from the outside, but right now, how many of those 5 layers are actually protecting your wall? Go take a walk outside your business today and find out. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay safe out there.